This is the Lauten LA-220, a mic that I had previously dismissed as not being pro enough. And boy was I wrong, because this thing really saved my ass in Japan. Let me tell you about it.
From the mind of Mark Yoshimoto Nemcoff.
So I just came back from Tokyo, and I went on vacation, and the whole idea was to get away. Get as far away from this booth as possible on the other side of the planet so that I could take a week off from voicing. Just relax, enjoy myself, enjoy the culture, enjoy the food, enjoy the shopping, enjoy just being in a city that feels like the energy is coming up through the ground through your entire body and radiating you with this amazing sense of like being. That's what it is in Tokyo. That's what Tokyo feels like to me. Like I'm in a world of electricity and wonder and magic. It just feels alive being there. I love Tokyo. So my first night, we get in, it's a 12-hour flight. You get in, you lose a day. We get in early enough to have dinner and go to bed. And I've been up, I don't sleep on the plane, which is terrible. And so I get up, I'm awake at 4 a.m, Tokyo time, my first day there. And so my first day there just happens to be Friday in the U.S., right? Because Tokyo is 16 hours ahead. So I wake up at 4 a.m, Tokyo time. And I check my phone, and right away, I see that there is hey, we need help from my biggest agency, my biggest client. And they're like, can you do 3 Allstate tags? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Right? I was not planning on doing this, but I had brought my voiceover rig. I brought a Porter rig just in case, because I knew something was going to come up. And boy, did it come up. So I wake up and I'm like, I am barely awake. I'm still kind of jet lagged. But at this point, I'm wide awake. My family's asleep. We have 1 hotel room. So I'm like, okay, I can do this. I have the right equipment. I have the LA-220, which Lauten sent me. And I have my MacBook, I have my Zoom F3, and I have Hush for OS X, noise abatement software. And I'm like, I can do this. So I go set up in the bathroom. I get ready, and as I'm doing it, it's like I get another email. No, it's 9 tags. And I'm like, okay, 9 tags, I can bump that out, even with processing it through Hush. And, I could do that really quick before anybody wakes up, right? I just do it in the bathroom. But my big question was, inside the bathroom, right? It's very ambient. Would Hush even do the job? Do I have the right sound to get it to Hush to take it the final mile? And man, did the LA-220 really surprise me. I had previously dismissed this mic as being kind of like a mid-level, prosumer-level microphone. I was being such a mic snob about it. And this is the sound of the mic, with no EQ, none of the filters engaged. So this is the wide open sound of the mic. But when you get in a compromised room, when you get in a really crappy acoustic space like that, you need to rely on the filters or EQ to fix that. And the sooner you can fix that, like before you hit your preamp, and especially when I have a unsophisticated rig, like a Zoom F3 going into my MacBook. And sure, I could have pulled up some plugins and did some this and that, but I felt like it would have started to sound weird, or I was going to spend a lot of time doing it. So I hit the 2 filters on the front of this mic. Let me just try to show you the bad camera angle. I'll throw a picture up on the screen. But there are 2 filters on this mic. There's a high pass and a low pass. Here, let me just show you something real quick. This is done today with no pre-production. So this is the frequency response of the LA-220, right? It's got a little bit of a warmer low end, and it's mostly flat. It does not have a peaky high end as you may expect from a mic in this price range with a center terminated capsule. And these dotted lines show you where the filters are. 120 hertz in the low end and 12 in the high end. Now, let me just go back here. Change that shot a little bit. So let me just enable these real quick. Go wrong way. All right, so this is taking the low end out, and this is taking the high end out. And here in the booth, this does not sound like what you would want, right? Let's restore. Listen to it. I mean, it does not sound great like that. So when I first tried the mic here in the booth, I was like, that's not something you'd use in the booth. But I knew it would be something that would be very helpful in a bad room. And a bathroom is a very bad room. So I put these two switches on, and I'm eating the mic like it's ramen. I'm like right in my face. I'm like right here, right on it. Hand holding it in the bathroom. At this point, it's like 4:30, maybe 4:45. I haven't had coffee, but I'm wide awake. And I'm nailing these tags. These tags are like 5 seconds long. They're like 8-10 words. And as I start to do it, they're 42 of them. So I'm in the bathroom doing this over and over and over again, processing them through Hush, sending them out. And boom, 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 boom. An hour and a half in the bathroom cutting tags, my very first morning in Tokyo, before anybody's awake, right? And it doesn't matter because in Tokyo, everything opens at like 10 or 11 o'clock. So it's not like we're going to rush out of the room at like 9 o'clock and start doing anything. So I'm banging these out. It probably took me, 90 minutes, a little bit more to get it all done and sent to the client across the world. But it sounded really good. And I was like, wow, the mic really delivered because I did not have to take this sound afterwards. I did not have to take the sound and massage it. I didn't have to drop plugins on it. I just processed it through Hush, no EQ, sent it to the client, and the client was very happy. Client was so happy, as a matter of fact, that over the course of the next few days, every day I would get a couple more. And the agency, they sent me a 30-second spot for Chase, and I'm like, I just want to go on vacation. But voiceover is not a profession where you can really say, I'm taking time off. You can basically try to plan some time off. But when the work comes, you got to do it. Because I'm afraid of getting Wally-pipped, right? I don't want to get replaced. And, these spots are pretty easy. I can do a 30-second spot, get set up and everything, and do it. And doing it on this mic, again, in a compromised room, really did the trick. Because this thing is it's not an 87. It's like a little bit more of an open sound than an 87. And even though it's got that flat contour, let me show you that graphic again. Even though it's got that flat, right, frequency response, it still feels punchy up top, at least with my voice. I think the way my voice projects in the upper mids through there and through the mids, it helps. And it doesn't get that weird honk U87 thing that sometimes you get when you have a mid-forward voice. So that's pretty cool. Let's look at some of the other specs while I got this up here. So it actually has a transformer. This totally surprised me. I thought for the longest time this was a transformerless bargain version of their thing. But it has a transformer in it. And it doesn't impart a coloration. It just adds like a little bit of that transformer push right there in the low mids. That's really nice, right? So I'm kind of feeling it really more around like 400 or 500 hertz, kind of where it sits nicer on the voice, but it doesn't have that grit to it. So it's the good part of the transformer without the grit. So I think that's great for voiceover. 32 millimeter center terminated capsule. So it's the same capsule that's in the mic that we love, right? I can't even remember the name. Dude, let me just tell you something. I am still so jet lagged. It's been a week, right? So I am still I'm not even sure what day it is. It has taken me so long. When you come back across the date line, you gained a day, right? So when we left Tokyo, our flight left at 6 p.m. Tokyo time, and we landed at 2 o'clock the same day, LA time. And I, didn't sleep on the plane. And I've been so whacked all week. So I can't remember the name of the LS-208. That's the problem. I promise I will recover soon. Why I'm even doing this video right now is solely because I've had to work today on July 4th. Today's July 4th, and I've had to do 2 gigs today. That's voiceover. So, hold on. This is not the right shot. Here we go. Let's go back to this. So, what else? What else can I tell you about this mic? Less than 15 dBA self-noise. It's got decent sensitivity, good enough. Not too sensitive. Because if you had taken a mic like the TLM-103, a really super sensitive mic, into that environment, especially with no filters on it would have been a total disaster. You could never have cut in that room. I don't think Hush has the horsepower to do that. And anyway, so the LA-220 delivered. It totally delivered the goods. I ended up doing, again, well over 50 tags, 55, 56 tags for Allstate. The spot for Chase. And I had to do every morning I had to voice. I had to cut like 1 tag or 2 tags. The rest of the time, just wake up and bang them out, bop, 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 just set everything and boom, nail it, go, and then go about my day. But I voiced every day on vacation except for the last day. And I told them I can't because I'm traveling. So, but I'll tell you, as a travel mic, the ability to take a compromised space is such it's such an important consideration that you really can't just grab your favorite mic and bring it with you. You really have to bring a mic that has the features that will allow you to cut in an environment that is not what you normally cut in. And filters on the mic are primarily there to help you adjust to your space. That's really what it is. So when you take this 120 hertz, all right, and you take that 120 hertz high pass, you may think, oh, that sounds that cuts a little bit too much out of the low end. That might in your normal space and a treated space. But when you got a boomy room and you're up there on the mic, right, trying to get that more of like that NPR sound, that really helps. The proximity really fills it in. And you don't want too much boom in the room, right? So that helps. And then even cutting out over 12, and I thought 12 initially, right, 12K for the low pass filter. I was like, man, that is cutting it way too much, right? I'm not getting enough high end. But again, for voiceover, you do not really need. It's nice to have that, especially when you want a lot of nuance and air in there. But especially when you're doing like commercials or stuff like this, stuff that's got to punch through, you hit that 12K and it really tightens up. It takes away some of the weirder high-end stuff that you will get in a bad room. So they have engineered this mic. Lauten has brilliantly engineered every mic to do something that you wouldn't expect, right? I mean, they all sound great. And again, I dismiss this mic as not being like as good as the other mics, right? And the 208 is a great mic. The Clarion's a great mic. The Atlantis is an amazing mic. They're all great mics. And this mic, I think this mic sounds really good. Once I finally kind of opened my mind to give it a chance. But for travel, for a bad room, and if it can take a bad room and turn it into a really good sounding VO, a really good sounding professional voiceover product, that I would put my career on the line with my biggest agency and big clients. My biggest client. I do hundreds of tags for Allstate a year. And so, they couldn't wait for me to come home, which is very flattering. But also I had to deliver the goods. And the LA-220 really did the job. So I'm very, very pleased with the 220. And I'm going to do, I'm rambling on forever. I'm going to do some more experimentation with the 220 in my office, in my barely treated office, to kind of demonstrate more of what you can get in a bedroom. Because I think that, a lot of times we look at microphones and we're like, wow, this mic sounds amazing. But the question is, does the mic sound amazing in the environment that you need to use it in? All right? It's a good question, and we're going to answer it with the LA-220. All right? Hey, have you checked out my new book yet? The Modern Voiceover Career Owner's Manual, because I talk a lot about choosing the right gear. And a lot of times, again, it's not about what sounds best in your headphones. It's about what sounds best in the end product. And that is something that does take a little bit of experience. But choosing the right gear that will get you where you want to go is a pretty big part of the equation. And it goes along with training, mindset, and really knowing how to approach different types of voiceover, whether it's an audiobook, whether it's a character read, whether it's a commercial, whether it's just a straight up narration. Every type of voiceover is a little bit different, and the way you approach it really starts right here in your mind, right here between your ears, and how you get into it and how you nail it. And I talk about all that in my new book, The Modern Voiceover Career Owner's Manual. Go check it out, available on Amazon for Kindle, paperback, and hardback. All right, what do you think of the LA-220? I am really, again, I kind of thought that this was going to be an okay mic, but I really like it. And this is definitely going to be a permanent addition to my Porter rig. All right, let me know in the comments. Until next time, this is Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov, fading to black.